So welcome to Customer-Led Growth webinar series produced by Trustmary. I'm Erica and I work in marketing here at Trustmary. Trustmary enables you to get and showcase reviews that matter where they matter the most. New social media platforms keep on emerging and marketers often feel the pressure to try and join each and every platform. In the recent years, TikTok has taken up more space from the more traditional channels such as Facebook and Instagram. And in fact, Meta announced in late July that they experienced a steeper than expected drop in revenue. And this actually marks the second consecutive decline in year-over-year sales. And this really made me personally wonder whether one or their company should also focus more energy on creating videos on TikTok instead of focusing on Facebook and Instagram. And furthermore, the new generation is crazy about the app. Luckily, today we have a guest that can shed light on the matter. I've personally never done any videos on TikTok, so I wanted to have someone who is a pro in that. So our guest is a creator that has experience both in being a TikTok creator, but also in managing a B2B account. He's here to share his insights on how to get started with TikTok and what are the benefits of creating a business handle for your company. So our guest has a personal TikTok account that currently has over 22,000 followers and 1.6 million likes. And he produces videos about how he, as an American living in Finland, sees the Finnish culture. And in addition to being a pro at self-branding on TikTok, he has started the handle for Seracaptio, where he gets to use his knowledge on TikTok to build brand awareness for his current workplace. But don't be fooled into thinking that he would only know the laws of TikTok, as he has a decade of experience in digital marketing, social media marketing, managing communications and public affairs, even knows the basics of web development. So naturally, I'm talking about the creator of the handle American Dream in Finland. A warm welcome to Dennis Kelley.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's so great to finally have this webinar. I'm super pumped up about it.
It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Good. So in your own words, who are you?
Sure. My name is Dennis Kelley. I am a full-time digital marketing manager for the staffing and recruiting agency Seracaptio. I also do social media marketing for Tired Uncle Brewery located in Espoo, Finland. And in my spare time, I run my TikTok channel, American Dream in Finland, the Instagram channel, and also I have a YouTube channel. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and now this August officially celebrating 5 years living here in Finland. I've lived in Helsinki for 3 years and also attended the University of Oulu, where I did my master's degree, and I lived there for 2 years. So in total, 5 years now here.
Cool. And you plan on staying here and not going back?
Yeah, for at least now.
Good. So in case there are people here following that don't even know what these TikTok videos are, could you give like a brief explanation before we dive into the topic?
Sure. So on my personal account, when I originally started with my TikTok channel, I had been doing YouTube videos, and I started doing videos about how I, as an American, moved to Finland, all the steps that it took, and then all the steps that it took when I first got here to get everything straightened away, like my banking, my residence permit, all that information. So I kind of tried to make a guide for fellow immigrants who are looking to move to Finland on how they could do as I have done by moving to Finland via studying. And then as time went on, that topic kind of ran out on my personal account. So I had to come up with new ways to keep my audience active and entertained. So I started doing more comparison related videos about how my life was in the US versus how it is here in Finland, and just kind of like odd little quirks and things that I noticed while I'm here.
Sounds good. So when did you actually start creating TikTok videos?
So I started January 1st, 2021. My girlfriend on that day, she downloaded an app that it's like you film 1 second every day for a full year, and then it compiles that all into one long video. So I decided to take that a step forward and try and make one original TikTok, script, film, and edit every day for a full year. And I was able to do it until July vacations, and then I started missing a few days here and there. But yeah, I did it for close to 7, or maybe even over 7 months, that I was able to do that and watch my channel grow in the process.
Okay, so what kind of other social media platforms are you currently using, like creating content for your personal branding?
So initially it started with YouTube. I did a couple long videos. It was more or less to try and get me kind of comfortable in front of the camera, because I was never really comfortable in front of the camera. And as we know with COVID, you're just constantly in front of the camera, especially if you're working remote like I am now. So that was a way I started doing it. And then, yeah, with my girlfriend, she has a famous cat on TikTok. So she kept telling me that I should be on TikTok. There's a lot of other creators that are doing content like that I was posting on YouTube. So I decided that TikTok would actually be an easier way for me to do these videos, because it's shorter. There's less editing that goes into it. You can film really quickly. So that's how I picked up with TikTok. And then once I saw the videos were doing well on TikTok, I started re-implementing them and repurposing them for Instagram. All the filming I do for my TikTok, I do it in Adobe Premiere or another editor like InShot on my phone. So that way the videos I'm posting on TikTok don't get watermarked, and then I can repurpose them on Instagram and on my YouTube channel for Instagram Reels and Instagram Shorts. So those are the main ones that I'm using. I also have a Facebook account and a Twitter, but never get much of a following on either. So they're kind of just there for branding purposes.
So what's your like end goal? Why are you doing this in the first place?
So there really isn't any end goal. I joke that like when I started my TikTok, I would love to get for a level of notoriety here in Finland, that I get invited to the Independence Day handshaking ceremony that they have at the with the president. So I think that'd be really cool if I was able to parlay this into that. But really, there is no real goal for my TikTok. It's just to see how fast I could grow a channel within a year, and what kind of statistics I would have after that year. So it was more of a fun little marketing thing.
And then probably many listeners are wondering whether they should join themselves, or whether it might be too late or already. So could you please help us understand how to get started in the first place, if one is wondering that? So you started it in January 2021, you said? Yep. So how many videos do you currently have then?
So currently I have, actually just counted, 339 videos on my personal channel. So I have been doing it almost every day for the entire year. I'd say around November, October was where I really started slacking off on my personal channel. But I would say that there's no limit right now. Anyone can get into TikTok. If you have original content ideas, it's a great place to show them off. And there's always a willing audience who's there to look at them. But I would say that making your content as original as possible, and essentially if you're a brand, keeping it so you're not just marketing your brand is the best way to do it. People really want organic stuff. You don't have to be comfortable in front of the camera. People love to see other people who are as uncomfortable in front of the camera as they are. So just really like homegrown, anything goes on TikTok. It's really a lot of fun out there to just make videos and to see what will gain followers and views.
Yeah, I've actually heard or read somewhere that you must do 150 videos in order to kind of find your niche. So do you think that's true?
I don't know if it's 150 to be exact, but you definitely find your niche pretty quickly. When I was initially first getting started, I had a lot of videos that were about how I moved here, and then I kind of ran out of that idea. So I started to try and do kind of like candy reviews, or I started reviewing, because it's something I'm interested in, different craft beer breweries around Finland. And I found that just was not going well with my audience. It was some of my lowest viewed content. So I realized I needed to pivot. And I noticed that the things that were getting my audience the most engagement rates were when I discussed kind of like quirky things about Finland, or things that are different from the US to moving here. So I started focusing more of my content on that, and the channel started growing more from that.
Do you have like an estimate of, oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, but I was going to say the algorithm completely decides, and it changes all the time. From what I see now, it used to be that your videos would get pushed out to a wide audience, but these days it seems like your content originally gets pushed out to your follower base, and you need to ensure that you're engaging your follower base, and then if they like your videos, then it'll get pushed out to a wider audience. So it's become a bit more difficult to make viral content, but there's still always the possibility.
That's really interesting because like I said before, I don't do any content myself. I'm a scroller, and I don't like videos. I don't comment on them. I don't like them. Like, I just scroll. And it's interesting because my brother is the same way. He's also based in Finland, and he only gets Finnish language videos, and I get all types of content. So it's really weird, like how it plays out with different people and how the algorithm actually functions.
Yeah, you have to start liking videos, and then you'll get a more catered feed.
I like the variety. I like to like have a broad spectrum of what's happening there. So maybe I should avoid liking and commenting in the future. So do you have like, what is your average likes, views, comments? Have you established that level right now?
Sure. Yeah, I kind of did a little bit of math on my personal channel right now. I get on average about 60,000 views per video, around 5,000 likes, and around 80 comments per video. And I found that your like to view ratio, you want it to be 10% or higher. If you get 10% or higher, usually your videos will hit like 100K. So right now my current average is around 8%. So need to get that up a bit, but if you get that to around 10, usually my videos, at least on my personal channel, they seem to go to 100K if you get that ratio.
Okay. Just a little side note, we will go deeper into metrics and what to track a little later on. But now I'm interested in the fact that you are not only doing this for, I don't know, personal gain and personal fun, but you're also the operator behind the handle for Seracaptio. So if you could give us a short recap of what it is that Seracaptio does.
Sure. So Seracaptio is a staffing and recruiting agency. We do embedded and RPO recruiting for clients such as Klarna, Utopia Music, and Electrolux. As a company, we all work 100% remote, with many of us traveling consistently. We have a couple of people that are going to like Bali and Malaga, and they're always kind of working and living there. And yeah, the purpose of our TikTok and Instagram is mainly for employer branding and to kind of capture funny things that happen during recruiters' days, and just kind of poking fun a bit at the remote working situation and office life. So typically that's what we're posting about, and yeah, that's what we do.
Sounds good. So what do you do at Seracaptio other than just run the account? That's not your only responsibility.
Yeah, so I handle our organic social media output. So I do the copywriting and design across LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I also do copywriting for blogs and our SEO and keyword research to optimize those blog posts. So yeah, really anything related to marketing, I can at least step in with and handle. So I've got pretty broad experience across all aspects of it.
Yeah, I have no idea how you can do all of those things, but apparently you can handle that pretty well. So whose idea was it to start this handle for Seracaptio?
So the handle for both their TikTok and Instagram were already done before I even joined the company. I joined the company in February of this year, so it's been a little over 6 months now. But they always had the intention of starting a TikTok and Instagram channel. So they're relatively new. I think we started publishing to them late in either March or April, sometimes in spring. And yeah, maybe possibly one of the reasons I got hired on to begin with was the presence that I had on my personal profile, and then hoping that I would do the same implementations with TikTok and Instagrams for the company.
So being a personal creator as well, was it different to start running a B2B account?
It's definitely different because always with TikTok, you always are fighting against the algorithm. So even though we're like a business account, we're still dealing with the same kind of issues that I deal with my personal account, in that our audience right now is a bit small because I'm located in Finland. So when I'm posting videos, they get pushed out to our mostly Finnish audience. So making videos that are about remote work or recruiting that relate to a Finnish audience has been a bit of a challenge. And I think our highest performing video on TikTok to date is related to just a video where a recruiter would mispronounce, if it was an American recruiter, would mispronounce a Finnish person's name. Instead of Janne, they would call them Janie. So that's our video that has the highest performance at the moment. And I know that's totally related to the location where I'm posting from, because in the comments, I could see people trying to help me and teaching me how to pronounce the a and the So I get that kind of same comments on my own personal channel. So it was kind of like a light bulb moment to know on the business channel that, oh, okay, I'm kind of dealing with a relatively similar audience to my personal channel. So maybe making content that relates to them a bit more will help with our view count, because right now it's a bit small on the business side.
Okay. And we will also look at the different statistics and how the target audience and algorithms affect the view counts and comments a little later on. But before we go into that, I think it would be good for people to understand how you actually do TikTok videos. So let's go over that flow. So what does the whole process of creating a video look like to you?
So TikTok, I typically come up with the idea, I write it. Sometimes my ideas, like I'll get them late at night, so I'll write them down on my phone in my notes. And then from there, I'll take that like one little blurb that I had and I'll write that into a script. And then from the scripting idea, I kind of try to figure out the different camera angles or different locations, if it needs a green screen, all those different ideas and things to create the flow of the actual video. So I do that in my scripting, and then I'll film with my phone. Usually I use a tripod with like a ring light to do the filming. And then I edit most of my videos in either Adobe Premiere or in InShot, which is a free app for your phone where you can edit multiple clips. And then from there, I select the music based off of whatever TikTok has that's viral and kind of fits the music. Typically, I don't use like the viral filters or things like that, but I will use the viral music in my TikToks because it definitely makes a difference.
Good.
And then by doing, sorry.
Let's hold on. I want to go back to the idea process a little more detail, and then we can go on with how you script and film and edit. Sure. So is it different to like have ideas for your personal than for your like B2B account? Is the idea process different in any way?
I would say it's a bit similar. In most of my idea process, I come up with ideas from conversations that I'm having or real life scenarios that I've been in. So I'd say the main difference with the work one is that when I'm talking to my colleagues, I'll ask them about funny stories or things that they've run into while they're recruiting. So that way I can utilize their story as my script. So whereas on my personal channel, anytime I'm doing a script, it's usually based off something that I've personally experienced myself.
Yeah, and here you can actually see an example of a spreadsheet that Dennis is creating for the business account, because you mentioned, I think you mentioned once that you like to like have the idea and just like create everything during the same day that you're posting when you're doing it for your personal account, but with the business account, you need to plan a little bit ahead.
Yeah, because they'd like to review the videos before I post them, whereas on my own personal channel, I get no review process, and then I can just post whatever I'd like on there, and I guess it can be more edgy.
Yeah. I actually saw the Sanna Marin video you did related to her partying that you posted on your personal one. It's funny. You should all go and check it out.
Yeah, occasionally I try to stay mainly away from politics, but if something's in the news, I'll I can lampoon it a bit or make a parody because I think that's relevant, and anything that I think is needs that kind of parody or push, I can do that with on my personal channel.
Mm-hmm. And then, sorry for interrupting you earlier, but please describe your script, film, edit process.
So the script, film, edit process, like I said, it's a lot of the ideas come based off conversations that I have. So the scripting, filming, and editing, I'll use. I had a past video where it was like I was pretending to be my parents when I was visiting home and working remote from there. So I'll use like filters, like an old man filter to look older, or like a woman filter to look like my mom. But that's a lot of like the editing techniques I do. It's just, I don't know. It's about being like resourceful, just seeing whatever you can do without trying to make the video look as badly edited as possible. I kind of like that like homemade aesthetic of having the green screen and everything with a bit of glow on you, and not having that perfection, because it shows that, it's a bit more organic rather than a polished video. You weren't like paid to make it, but it makes it so it's more connectable with people who are watching it, that they could make this themselves. It makes it a bit more, I don't know. Like I said, you get better connection with your audience.
So would you recommend someone to film like a bunch of content at once and editing it at the same time? Or like, how do you feel about that?
I think it all comes down to like how the user or how people feel comfortable with doing this, because it's kind of an uncomfortable process to film yourself for multiple takes or like multiple videos. It can be pretty disheartening. I've had takes where I have like a long monologue that I want to get through, and it's like it takes me like 20 takes to try and get a sentence, and then I just end up breaking down the sentence into two and just splicing the two pieces together, because it can be really, really tough getting those the takes that you want. So I think that it shows that anyone can do it, and people just shouldn't be afraid to give it a try.
Yeah, I agree, but I also feel like I could never do that myself. So
it's a good confidence boost after you do it for a while. You learn the ins and outs of doing it, and how to best spend your time and how to do it more quickly.
Maybe I will give it a try in a year or so. Not promising anything though. So what about sorry.
But if you're gonna film like multiple videos in a day, that can also be easy, especially if you're doing it as like a series. It makes it more easy to chop it up. And for me, I do costume changes and stuff because I might have multiple people, but it's the same person, but they're supposed to be multiple people. So it just depends on how long you are making for each video and how much effort you want to put into it.
Yeah. So once you have actually done this part, you've done the scripting, filming, editing, and then you post it. So what happens after that?
So after I post, I leave it alone. I don't check. I just, it's like it never happened. If I'm posting on a Friday, typically I'll post at like 3 p.m. That is when people are starting to end work and when students are getting out of school. So on Friday at 3 p.m. is the height of a TikTok viewing audience. So if I post at 3 on a Friday, I will not look at that video until 9 o'clock or after at night. I want to give that video as much time to do as well as it can on its own. And then I'll start going in and responding to all the comments. So that way it gives it an extra boost. So all the people who commented it, they'll get redirected to the video. Maybe they won't remember what they wrote, and then they'll get more views that way.
Yeah, sounds smart. That's a good tip for all of you out there who are creating stuff for social media, and especially on TikTok. And then I'm interested in how much time you actually need to spend on the different stages. So if we can just go over this slide quickly.
Sure. Yeah, the idea phase it's always the quickest. Sometimes it's the most hard part to come by. You need to kind of have an inspiration or have a conversation with somebody about something that just sparks something, an idea. But yeah, it can take from 1 second to 5 minutes. And then sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll have an entire script written out, and I'll come up with a totally different way to present that idea. So the scripting, filming, editing portion, that'll take anywhere from 1 to 4 hours, depending on how intricate I want to make the video. I've had videos where it took me a really long time. I did this one video where it was, I had gone and gotten tested for COVID. So I was sitting around waiting to hear the results to know if I needed to quarantine or not. So I made a video that was a parody of the TV show That 70s Show, where it was like the intro music, and the intro music is like hanging out around the street, and I made it like hanging out around the house waiting for the test results. But it's like That 70s Show, the intro for that was all of them sitting in a car, and there's like 6 of them. So I had to film myself 6 times with a green screen and then kind of place 6 of me in a car and then switch it like every verse of the song. And it really took a really long time. So it just depends on, you know, how in depth you want to get with your editing or your scripting or any of that. You know, you could really get passionate about a video and really put in a lot of time to it. And then it ends up falling flat too. I think that video is less than like 10,000 views, but I'm really proud of it. But
yeah, that's actually the worst, when you're putting your heart and soul and a lot of time and effort into something and it ends up failing completely, and something you just whipped up in an hour might be your best performer. So like,
it's so true. But the cool thing is that if you have something like that, you're getting views from the video that took you no time, and maybe that will bring more views to the one that took you a long time, and people will appreciate it more. So it's always good.
Good. So then you mentioned the log out and do nothing for 6 hours, and then about the interaction part, because I think this is something that most people tend to forget, that it doesn't end with the posting of the video, because you actually need to react and do something with it. So could you explain that a little more?
Exactly. People like to have that connection with the content creators and influencers that are, you know, popular these days. I don't have nearly as much of a following as some influencers out there. Like my girlfriend, she has 500,000 followers for her cat, so she's constantly having to discuss her cat and other people's cat with them in the comments. You know, everybody wants to write like, oh, he looks just like my cat, and so she has to respond to every one of these comments, and it really, you know, helps your content. For me, I try to respond to every comment I get. I've kind of fallen off on that lately, but if you DM me, I always comment on that too. I'll always give a response. But it's a very, very time consuming process, because some people really are passionate about the topic that you're discussing, and they'll go at length about either how you were wrong about your opinion, or you know, how you were right about it, and you know, how it affects their life, and they really want to go in depth about it. Especially with the Finnish audience. The Finnish audience is extremely up to date on global news, global politics. So anything I'm posting that's related to that, it's always a good discussion with the people who watch.
Interesting. Interesting to hear that the Finnish audience is so knowledgeable of what's happening around the world. And I think it must be with you being an American living in Finland, so they kind of want to like correct you on some things, because it's their culture, our culture. So
yeah, and rightfully so. Like, I've made some very bad errors. I made a video where it was like the history of long drink, and I got completely wrong the year that Finland joined the EU. You know, I did it. It was like I said it was like the year that Finland joined the Euro, not the EU, and people were very very quick to correct me, which I appreciated. But that's another thing too, though, is if you get some sort of fact or something wrong in your video, it's funny because the engagement rates like really go up. People really like to comment and let you know that you got that wrong. So, but it's always good.
That might be a good tactic to use to get engagements.
I've heard other content creators say that they purposely say something wrong in every video they do to try and increase engagement rates.
All the things we do to get more engagement. But in total, it kind of seems that way, that you need to spend 3 to 6 hours per video. Is this the same, like, regardless of if you're doing it for Seracaptio or if you're doing it for your personal account? Is it the same?
It totally depends on the engagement rates. With the Sarah Caprio videos, it's kind of a newer channel, so we're not getting as high of engagement rates as we get on my personal channel. On TikTok, I think we'll get around 2,000 views per video, whereas on my TikTok, I get 60,000 views. So there's a big difference in that, and the interactions and the amount of people who will comment. So the Sarah Caprio channel at the moment, it doesn't need as much kind of follow up in the comment section at the moment. Hopefully that will grow. But yeah, I think that maybe with the Sarah Caprio, it might be a good idea to start commenting on other people's videos to try and kind of gain that awareness too. So people see that we're engaging with other people's videos so that they can engage with ours too. So that's kind of a next step with that channel.
And I think that's a great way to actually move from this topic to like talking about what does going viral mean in different contexts, like your personal one and also the Sarah Caprio one. So what does going viral mean to you in terms of your personal handle? Like, what would you say?
So I'd say at this point, I'm always trying to top my top video on TikTok, my personal channel. I think I have like a video that has 550,000. So I'm always trying to top that one. I always want to hit that million view video. But initially, I guess for me, I'm always happy if a video gets over 100K. I guess I've been a bit spoiled that my second video I ever posted went to 100K. The first one was like 60,000. So from like the first couple of videos that I had made, they've all performed decently. And then, you know, now I'm trying to always hit that like 100K threshold or better on my personal account, at least.
That sounds like a skyrocketing start that you started by setting the standards high. What I thought was really interesting, and thank you for sharing these stats with us today, is that from your TikTok account, 88% of your viewers actually come from Finland. So that actually also plays a huge role because we don't have that many people here, like 5.3 million or something. So we actually have your best performer here, which has 560,000 likes, views, and 64,000 likes and 500 something comments. So I think this is something that people should take into account when they are reviewing the stats. So if you compare your results to American TikTokers who are going viral, the numbers are sure to be different. One thing I was interested in hearing, so how does one actually go viral? What do you think?
It's a mix of a whole lot of factors. You need to have something that connects with your audience. Your script writing needs to be good. So it needs to be something that engages them instantly so that they won't keep scrolling. A lot of people swear by shorter videos. The shorter the length, the more likely you are to get a full view. The text, it's good to have text in addition to audio. That way, if your audio isn't so great, then people can read it. There's a whole lot of factors that go into trying to have the perfect video, though. It took me a while to add text, and then that started having an impact, though. But yeah, I think that all those are the major factors for ensuring you'll go viral. That and the song selection choice. You always want to try and do something that's trending or has the popular tag too, because the song selection makes a difference. And for your hashtags, incorporating hashtags that are, for you page, FYP, and other related hashtags, but not using too many hashtags. I think the guidance is to use 5 or less.
That's different from Instagram, I think.
Yeah, Instagram, I found that 25 or less for hashtags at least.
Crazy. Do you think it's all about joining the trends to become like a viral success?
I think that that's one way of getting virality, but however, I haven't really done any of the trends, the filters, the video, the trends like that the people use. I use those trending songs, but I try to make all my content kind of original and based off experiences rather than based off the trends or other people's videos. I actually don't really scroll TikTok very much. I don't want to kind of subconsciously get somebody else's idea in there and then end up using their idea. Because there's a lot of other content creators who are Americans that are in Finland that are doing this as well. So I want my content to be unique.
I get that. And since you took the path of being creative and creating unique content, and you want to like stay that way, so sounds like a great plan to stay off TikTok. And by the way, it really takes a lot of your time if you start scrolling on TikTok. So
exactly.
Maybe avoid that. So then you mentioned earlier that you edit the videos with stuff that doesn't leave a watermark on your videos. So can you then repurpose them directly to Instagram, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I make all my videos either on my laptop with Premiere or in InShot on my phone. And then I just upload that video to TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. That way I don't get the TikTok watermark. If you have the TikTok watermark and you're posting to YouTube and Instagram, unless you have a massive following, it's not going to do as well. I've had videos that perform much less if they have that TikTok watermark, because somehow Instagram and YouTube recognize it. So keeping that watermark off is it's a good step. But if you're filming in TikTok, then you always have that watermark. So that's the reason I use other apps to do my filming and editing.
Okay. Because I thought it was super interesting that on your Instagram handle, your personal, the same, the American Dream in Finland, 36% of your viewers come from the States. So that means that there are a lot more people that can see your videos, and we have your two best performers here. So would you like to walk us through on why the numbers are the way they are?
Sure. So the one on the right is actually the first video that I had that went viral. Yeah, it just started gaining millions of likes over the course of like a week and a half. And it was like every couple seconds I was getting pinged with comments and everything. So I ended up having to turn off notifications. But that was the video that probably gained me a lot of US audience. The video is depicting like how kids in Finland have a bit more freedom than kids in the US. Like I myself, as a child, I had to have my parents hold my hand to walk across the street. Whereas here in Finland, I see little kids like riding the bus and the train all by themselves all the time. So the video was about that. And at the moment, there was a lot of discussion in the US about the safety of children. And so that was a lot of what the engagement and comments were coming to that video. And I think that kind of helped me gain a US audience a bit, because it was mostly US people arguing with Finnish people about the differences in our cultures. So there was that. And then the other one was, it was related to Johannes, the midsummer celebrations here in Finland. So in the past years, they used to have the Hinha 24/7, which was this camera that would show what people were buying at Prisma, the grocery store. So it would show the grocery store conveyor and just like what people were buying. So I kind of just made a video that was a conversation between two people about them watching that on Midsummer. And people were interested in that. A lot of people globally had never known that this was a thing, and they were interested in learning more about it and finding out where they themselves could watch it. So that was a lot of the comments on that one too. And then these two videos were posted maybe a week and a half apart. So I think some of the viewership came from both of the videos from one to the other.
So how do you feel about are you mostly creating for Finnish people or for the global audience? Like, what is the point of view of you as a creator? Like, what are you which kind of audience are you trying to reach?
I would like to have a more global audience, but I guess it's not up to me. It's getting difficult now because my TikTok audience is 88% Finnish, and then my Instagram audience is now higher, US audience. So finding a medium for my videos now to satisfy both of those audiences. It should be easy because I have both perspectives. So I'm thinking that if I do videos like I have been, it should reach both of those audiences, but it doesn't always. I need to kind of revisit and figure out things that are relatable to both places and see how they do. I have a whole backlog of videos from my TikTok because the Instagram was started later. So it's interesting to see now which of my old videos are performing well on my Instagram. It's interesting though to see.
For sure. So what do you think about now that we've gone over the virality aspect of your personal handle? So how do you define going viral with a B2B account? Is it different or is it the same? Like on TikTok?
So, yeah, I would still go back to, of course, my original numbers because that's been my first experience with TikTok. So I would like to see the numbers reach that virality that I did on my personal account. However, I understand that it is a business account and people are less likely to follow or engage with a business account if you give the feeling that it is a business account. But right now, the audience that we have, they might not be so into remote working, or they might not have so much experience with recruiting. So it's going to be moving forward, trying to figure out how to engage that Finnish audience and while still trying to also incorporate a global audience into that. So it's a challenge, but we'll figure something out for it and move from there.
Sounds good. And then we have the the best performer from your, you mentioned this earlier. This was the American recruiter saying, pronouncing the names wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested in the the audio that you used here. So can business accounts use the same audio as personal accounts, and how is that restricted in TikTok?
So on TikTok, if you open a business account, you are restricted in the audio that you can use. They will only let you use, or they will not give you access to the licensed music. So you will not have access to hits or viral songs. You'll have to utilize the kind of pre-made 2-minute long, MIDI sort of songs that they have there for business accounts. So it's better to keep your business account as a personal account. And that way you get access to a lot more music. On this particular one, I just use the Curb Your Enthusiasm music because there's 3 or 4 songs that I typically go to if I'm trying to portray what I'm doing as humorous. It's almost like having a laugh track. So if you hear that song, it's like, points to laugh at, hopefully. And then, the video is just, me mispronouncing Finnish words, which was actually something I did on my personal account, and then realized that I have a Finnish audience on this business account. Then I could kind of utilize this same concept, but towards a recruiter. And then, it performed decently. So more videos like this maybe in the future.
We'll wait and see. So then we can have a look at the following numbers or the locations for the business account. So here we can see that it's only a quarter of them are coming from Finland, and in the TikTok one, 72. So a huge difference again, and almost 12% are coming from the States. And then, I think that explains these metrics here, almost 200,000 views. Anything you would like to highlight about this video and how it went viral?
Sure. So this video is kind of interesting. When you post on Instagram, you have the ability to cross-post it on Facebook as well. So Facebook also shows Instagram Reels. So this video in particular actually got, I think, 172,000 views from Facebook, which is interesting because we don't even have a Facebook page, but it still was going viral on Facebook rather than on Instagram Reels. This video, I actually posted it from Milan. So there's a bunch of outliers with this video. It was posted outside of Finland. It was mainly shown on Facebook. And it still has performed very well. I think maybe people found it a bit relatable. And there was different people other than just myself. It's tough to get buy-in at a workplace for other people to do TikToks. People always like the idea of doing them, but people always don't want want to be in them. So In this one, I was able to, coax some people into helping me out and filming a video because we were all there for our team meeting and having a party. So people were maybe a bit more excited to participate. And the ones that we've had where it's, multiple people within the company have always performed better than the ones where it's just myself. And I think that's because, people want to see the whole company rather than just one person.
You mentioned that you posted this video from Milan. So does it make a difference, like where you actually post it from?
So I'm finding that on Instagram, it does not matter, but on TikTok, it definitely matters. For example, in the month of July, I was visiting my family from Boston. So I was there for a month and I got a US SIM card, and I was noticing that when I was publishing things, my numbers were slightly different. My whole TikTok account got transferred to a US account. So in the US, you can be part of the Creator Fund. So I actually had the link to join the Creator Fund and everything. And I read online not to publish. If you publish, it essentially resets your account. So on my personal account, I did not publish the entire time I was in the US. And on the Sericaptio account, I was continuing to publish, and I noticed the numbers were a bit different from those videos compared to other ones. So posting from where you're located and whatever SIM card you may have definitely can have an effect on your audience as well as your view count.
Yeah, so multinational companies really need to take this into account as well if you have a marketing team that is located in different parts of the world. So it really makes a difference where the videos are posted from.
Exactly. Yeah. If they're having one shared account and people are posting from different locations every day, then that can have a giant impact because from what I've read, at least, that means you're essentially resetting your TikTok audience and account with each posting day.
Wow. Totally new information. Good. Thanks for sharing. And then now that we've gone over how to go viral and what it actually even means on different platforms and with different audiences. So what are the goals that you've been given for the Sericaptio handle?
So I haven't really been any goals at the moment set for the Sericaptio TikTok or Instagram. It's essentially kind of part of our brand marketing, our employer branding marketing process. So essentially, we're trying to make these videos to show off, the uniqueness of the company that we are. We're 100% remote. We're a fun place to work. We have company meetups where everybody met in Milan. So we're just trying to portray this in the best light possible so that incoming candidates who are applying to jobs for us, they look across our social media and they see this and they are interested in joining what we've got put together. So at the moment, there was no conscious goals for our TikTok, our Instagram. It was just to see what kind of branding and word of mouth we get. And, we're constantly hearing feedback when we're having interviews with people, and they always say that they like our videos. So that was part of the reason that they wanted to apply, which is always good to hear.
So how do you feel as a creator that you are not given any goals to meet? How do you feel about that in general?
Yeah, it's incredibly freeing because I know from doing it for my personal account, every video can either be a hit or a miss or, something in between, but you never really know how it's going to play out. Each day it's different. You can think you kind of pinpointed your audience and how a video is going to do, and it'll just fall on its face. You never know how it's going to do. So not having kind of to track metrics and keep up with things like that on a monthly basis, even though I'm of course doing that, but not having that pressure to perform is definitely huge for TikTok and Instagram, because it's never known how a video will perform until you get a massive audience.
So could you explain this then? Why do you follow these types of metrics if you're not required to do so? So why are you still doing it?
So this was the metrics from my personal account. So I actually put these together because we were having this conversation. So I kind of quickly put these together because I know I'm in marketing, so I'm always curious, how my metrics have been, but I've always been too lazy to actually do it. But this meeting here kind of gave me the motivation to finally go through and look at them. So I could give you all and the audience here watching the hard stats on how these things are performing.
Thank you for that, because this
welcome.
is super interesting to see. Like, this is like the icing on the whole cake to see what type of numbers you can get when you do this systematically. So please walk us through why the like to view ratio is a good thing to follow.
Sure. So I've always had this idea that my like to view ratio, if you get it above 10%, then your video has a very good chance of doing and performing very well. So whenever I'm posting a video, I say that I don't interact with it. I don't open the TikTok app for 6 hours, but I will go on my browser and check to make sure that it is getting views. And when I'm doing that, I'm also dividing the number of likes by the number of views to see and monitor like how it's doing. And while it's starting to trend, if I notice that it's in that 10% range of like to view, then I know it's going to be a good performing video. So yeah, but as a person in marketing too, I find these stats to be very interesting. It's always interesting to see how, your analytics are for anything and to make a plan from them and move forward. But I've kind of always known in the back of my mind what is performing well based on what I talk about or how I film it. So having this data to kind of back up what I've kind of always known it's nice.
Yeah, because we can see from here that you have a couple of 12s over here. You also have a couple of not so good, like less than 2% or somewhere around that. So it kind of goes to show that you just need to keep on going. You can't be discouraged by one not so well performing video, but you just need to keep on doing more and more and more.
Exactly. It's so easy to get kind of disheartened when you have a video that doesn't perform well and swear off that you're never going to post anymore. But if you keep at it, eventually, you'll find your niche and you'll find an audience and people will like your content. It just can take some time.
But how do you feel when you get like these 12s here? So how do you feel when you post, when you're trying to figure out what to post next? Do you get like a lot of pressure, or like how can one come over that hurdle? Like, oh, I did so well, what am I gonna do next?
Yeah, that can be tough, especially like, if you had success and then you fall flat on your face with the next one. It's tough to kind of motivate yourself to keep at it. But I don't know. It's just, if you enjoy it, you'll keep at it. And if you have things to talk about and topics to discuss, every day is a new day. And if something you didn't do well, you can always just try and rephrase it and reformat it. I've had videos that didn't perform well and people didn't understand it. One of my best performing on TikTok was about my first encounter with lihapiraka, which is like a Finnish meat pie, and I thought it was a jelly donut the first I had it. So that was my best performing video. Then I did a video about, in Finland, oranges are called appelsini, so that always confused me. I used to think apple was apple and appelsini is maybe an apple juice or something. So I just did a commentary on how I didn't understand how appelsini and apple juice were different. And people just in the comments just didn't understand why I didn't understand that. So I took that concept and I pivoted it to the same format as the lihapiraka video. And then that video ended up getting, I think, 300,000 or 400,000 views. So it was just about rephrasing and reformatting the original topic idea I had, and then using a format that I had seen that had worked well in the past, and then just taking that topic, putting into that same format, and then pushing it out there, and then it did well.
Wow. Sounds great. Sounds like a lot of work, but when you get it right, you get it right. So
exactly.
We still have about 5 minutes to go, so I think we should close up with discussing to join or not to join. Do you think it's too late to jump on board to join TikTok as a brand or as a personal branding thing?
No, I don't think it's ever too late to join. With TikTok, whole new creators are constantly being shown out to new audiences, and you never know what video is going to go viral. There's always current events to talk about. There's always things happening in the world that you can, parlay yourself into an audience with that. So it's always good to just try it. Like, if you don't like doing it, you don't have to do it. But as far as business accounts go, I think that keeping it kind of organic and keeping it on a topic rather than just promoting your brand is the way to go. A lot of people who are on TikTok, they don't want to see sponsored posts. They don't want to see, product posts. They want to see organic content. And a lot of brands that are successful, like Duolingo or Ryanair, that's the type of content that they're putting out there. They're not just promoting constantly like they're having a sale or things like that. They're doing it in a unique way, and it can be edgy at times, which people like.
True. And by the way, those handles are also personal handles, so they can use the viral sounds and the licensed ones. So that isn't being penalized yet, but I'm kind of like cautious if I would create a business account on what I would choose to do. But big brands are doing it, so it's kind of up to you then.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how it plays out too, because of a lot of these big brands, and we were doing it in the past too. You'll post your TikTok video with that watermark because you want people to know your handle, and you'll post it on LinkedIn. And there's a lot of companies that are using copyrighted music and things on their TikTok and then posting that on LinkedIn. So I kind of am curious to see how that'll play out in the future.
Yeah, so maybe be a little cautious as to what you do, because there are actual laws that are at play there. So what would you say are the core benefits for you personally for joining TikTok, and then also for Seracaptio for having a TikTok handle?
So for my personal handle, I really don't get anything out of it. I'm not getting paid. I'm not getting sponsored, but I just enjoy doing it in my spare time. It's been something that just a hobby for me. That's how it started out initially. It's fun to kind of look back on the videos that I've done. Some of them are incredibly cringy now that I look back on them, but it's kind of cool to have that whole database of videos that I've done over the past year. And then it's helped too. I think that, it helped with my job search, which I was doing earlier this year. And I occasionally, I'll get noticed on the street and people will tell me that they like my videos. And, it's always good to hear that. And I've gotten, free beers at bars before. So that's always
cool.
a nice,
that's a
nice
benefit.
perk. Exactly. So there's some benefits, but, nothing sponsored yet, but maybe someday. And like I said, I always want that handshake at the Parliament building. And from a business standpoint, I think that employer branding has been huge. From the people who are doing the hiring at Seracaptio, they're always telling me that every new person who comes in that they interview is always talking about our videos. So it's always really good to hear and really, happy to hear about that. But for me, I'd like a little bit larger audience so that we can gain some more brand awareness globally rather than just in Finland.
Yeah, sounds good. And I think it's interesting that for having such it's rather small still, the Seracaptio account, because it's only been started a half a year ago, or you're doing it for half a year. And still each person that comes in to have an interview is mentioning it. So I think that's huge, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a great first step, at least for right now. And getting more people involved in the channel, I think would be great too, if we can do that. Trying to work on new video ideas to get more people involved, to get some fresh faces in there. So it's not just always mine. But I think that, getting that employer branding and, helping with our, stream of candidates has been the biggest plus so far.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's to come. We're done. We are running out of time. I want to thank you, first of all, Dennis, for participating. And I want to thank everyone who came to listen, and we value your feedback and we aim to improve our webinars. So feel free to fill out this short survey. You can take out your phone, open the camera app, and it should take you right to the survey. It's really short, takes 1 minute to fulfill. And you will be getting the recording of this webinar tomorrow. So Dennis, if someone wants to reach out to you with any questions that they had, so what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Sure, they can either reach me at any of my handles, American Dream in Finland, they DM me on Instagram, or you can email me at americandreaminfinland@gmail.com, or feel free to add me on LinkedIn at Dennis Kelley.
Great. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you as a guest. I can't even begin to tell you, it was great.
Thanks, Erica. It was very nice talking with you, and appreciate TrustMary for reaching out to give me this opportunity.
Anytime. Thank you, everyone there. I will now stop the webinar. So looking forward to reading your feedback. Thank you. Bye-bye.